Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to replace your engine mounts on a W123 Mercedes-Benz. This is a 240D, but this process should be the same for the 300D as well. So let's go ahead and get into it. To locate your engine mounts, you're going to come from the top. Your air cleaner will be on the passenger side or on the left side when you're facing the car. Down right there, that metal piece will be, you'll see it going, that round bit, that is the center of the engine mount. There are 3 bolts holding it in. There's one on each side. I have started the process, so I'll show you what I've done so far. First thing I would recommend doing is taking out the 2 bolts that actually hold the engine mounts to the engine, which you need to be under the car for. So let me go ahead and show you where those are. So we're under the vehicle. This is your lower engine oil pan. And we're going to follow it to this lower control arm. And just behind that, you will see this hole. Up in that hole will be an 8mm Torx bit. And you will just simply unscrew those. There's one on either side, and they are both located right behind the lower control arm, as you can see. Then on either side of that, you will see the 2 bolts that are holding the engine mount to the frame of the vehicle. I've already removed one. You remove those from the top. They will be 6mm Torx bolts. Do be aware, these strip very, very easily, and I've almost already stripped one, and I can imagine they are a nightmare to get out once they strip, so be very, very careful. Use heat, use WD-40 or PB Blaster. Use some sort of lubricant, because these really want to strip, and I would recommend replacing the bolts once you get them out. Before you jack up the vehicle, you're going to want to make sure you take off your linkage cable. There's just a simple little pin right here. You remove, and the cable will come apart, and this will just pull out. It's very simple, very easy. That way you don't accidentally bend this whole assembly. I mean, yes, it does flex, but you don't want to accidentally bend it out of place. So to get the bolt that's right there out, as you can see, there's a little hole. I just used a 3/8" ratchet with a small extension. I was able to get that one out. Now, I'm taking out the front 2 first. As for the side with the injection pump, I got this extremely long 1/2 inch. That way I don't have to work around any of the fuel hoses or any of that. I can just go straight all the way through all that. And I got it to finally crack loose. This is the one that almost stripped on me, so I'll take it out all the way, and I'll show you what I mean. What I ended up doing was I got my extension in here, and since it's a Torx bit, it was starting to round, so I took a hammer, hammered it down in there, so that way it would help reform the metal back to what it should be, in hopes that it doesn't strip. So let me go ahead and take this all the way out and show you how it was starting to strip. I forgot to mention, once you take those 2 bolts out of the bottom, you should get your jack and a piece of wood and put it underneath on the oil pan and just jack up the engine a little bit. That way it takes the strain off the engine mounts themselves. So here's the bolt that I got out. As you can see, it is somewhat rounded. It's not, and there's some metal shavings. Very, very easy to round. These are very soft, so I would really recommend replacing these. I will find out what size they are after I go to the hardware store and I get these mounts all the way out. Okay, so on the driver's side, I also forgot to mention this, there's the oil pan. Behind where the bolt hole is for the engine mount, there's going to be this little stud with a little bushing on it. This is for the 240D model. For 4-cylinder. On the 5-cylinder, we have one on either side. But that is for your engine shock. You're going to need to take that off. It's a 10mm nut, and you'll need to hold it from the back. It should be a 7mm hex on the back. I just ended up using locking pliers and holding it still. That way you can turn the nut, and it won't just turn the whole thing. You'll need to take that off, because you're going to jack up the engine, and that will prevent it from actually moving. So you need to go ahead and do that as well. And now I just need to remove the rear bolt on both sides. Okay, so to get to this one on the exhaust intake side, take the intake box off, which is just, you simply take off the top, which is a 10mm nut, and then inside of the actual tray you'll find 3 nuts, which are these 3, and they're all 10mm. And then down in there you will see, that's what my is actually, my socket's actually on it, but down in there you'll have direct access to it. This extremely long 1/2 inch has been very helpful. I'll link it in the description. But see, that's all you need to do, and then you'll just be able to get this one completely out. And then I'll work on that side. I got the side with the intake exhaust, the passenger side out, and I just had to jack up the engine quite a bit. I'm still having trouble on the driver's side, but I'll let you know what I do with that side. I'm gonna go ahead and just replace this side since I got it out. I want to show you guys how bad this engine mount is. So that is pretty bad when you compare new and old parts. Obviously this is in significantly better shape, and this one isn't collapsed either. I mean, look at the height difference. So this should get rid of a lot of the vibrations I've been feeling inside the car. Do note it goes upside down. Well, at least what I feel is upside down when you put it back in. So we can go ahead and get this new one installed on the passenger side. To get it out, this little heat shield sits inside of it. It faces this direction, kind of just like that. As I jacked it up, I was able to kind of just wiggle it that way, and the engine mount fell at the bottom of the car. So I'm gonna clean this up, just that way it's a little cleaner down there, and get this side just back together. Okay, so after I clean it up some, you can see the arrow. The arrow, there's one adverse side on both of them, but they will face forward. The arrow will be pointing forward. It's on both sides. Just, you couldn't see it on mine because it was so gunked up, but yeah. I'm gonna try to show you to the best of my ability to show you what I did to get this engine mount in. It's really easy actually. I put the engine mount like this. You need to put the heat shield with it because the heat shield actually rests inside of it, and then you just kind of wedge it in there, and the bolt holes will line up. Now the bolt holes are gonna be hard to line up in the center one because the engine kind of moves, but not too much. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just loosely thread in these two, and then I'll loosely thread in that one, and that way that's mounted in. Okay, so I kind of got this side of the engine to raise up high enough. This plate was actually like stuck in the old engine mount toward a point where when I pried it out, it made a really loud pop sound. The metal, this right here, these two little teeth, they seat into the mount itself, and I guess over time it has just gotten stuck. What I ended up doing was I moved my piece of wood over to just isolate that half of the engine, and it finally gave me enough space to where the engine rose. Now I haven't got another bolt out because you have to take this off in order to get to that bolt, because the bolt sits just barely like halfway underneath this plate. So to actually get it out, you have to take this off first. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that off. You will just need an Allen key. It's gonna be tedious. It's gonna take a while, but be careful not to strip it, especially this one, because you cannot see it at all. You're mainly just working blind. Okay, so I got the bolt out. Here it is. I had to use a tiny Allen key because this one's too long. It was hitting the engine itself or the engine mount, and you can't move the engine mount. So you're actually moving it. So I had to use the short one. I was able to get it out. Very, very difficult. It did not. You don't have much working room at all. So now I should just be able to come up here and I'll just drop it through the bottom since that's the easiest. And as we can see, this one is not collapsed like the other one, but we can see where it is starting to buckle. So this one was definitely bad as well. So good thing we're replacing these. So let's go ahead and get the new one back in. I just want to show you guys the difference between the old ones and the new one. So this is the passenger side one, or the side with the intake. very, very collapsed. This one is the one that's probably worse. It's the worst one. It's completely collapsed actually. As you can see, this one's even a little bit higher. It is starting to collapse, as you can see, starting to break apart, and you have a giant crack right there on the top, and on the bottom. But if you look at this one, it is all nice in one piece. And I'm just checking, make sure they're at least relatively the same thing, which they are. The only difference is the genuine Mercedes ones appear to have these 4 holes. I'm not sure what they're for. They might just be casting holes, but this one just has these giant ones. But they are the same size and everything else, just a different version. So this will hopefully fix my issue of the extreme vibrations in the car. Same side, you just slide it in. I found this gap right here worked pretty well to get it to go in there. And then you will want to go ahead and tighten up the bolt that you can't see, because you're going to have to put the heat shield over it, and well, you can't get to the bolt after you put the heat shield on, so you're going to want to make sure that one's nice and snug. So now let's go ahead and get that in. So I made this little setup. My toolkit comes with these little bits for a little driver they give you. What I found is I got a little 1/4 inch socket on a 1/4 inch ratchet. I set it inside of it, and it gave you just enough room to use it, and made it a little much easier to get tighter since, you know, the ratchets. Only thing is this falls out pretty easily, and it can fall underneath the mount, and to get it back out you have to take the mount out, so just be careful about that. But I found this really easy to get the mount nice and tight in there, in that tight space. This worked really well. I did put the heat shield in already, but it just slides in. Make sure the arrow's pointing forward, and the little bits that have like the spikies, they go into the mount, so they go down. The smooth side, so if I can show you, the smooth side should look like that, because it's gonna go right into this. So let's go ahead and lower the engine and get the 2 holes back in. I mean 2 bolts back in. Alright, now that we're back under, I left the mounting screws slightly loose. That way, if I need to, I can adjust the engine a little bit, hopefully. Make that a little bit easier, and I'll tighten those after I get the main bolt back in. So, as we can see, it's roughly lined up. Hopefully, that's good enough. If I need to, I can jack up the engine a little bit, giving myself a little bit of wiggle room so I get those threads to start. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll let you guys know. Okay, so I was able to get the bolt that goes into the engine on this side in pretty easily. This side's not lining up very well, so what I did is I went ahead and just put this one all together, and I lowered the engine all the way, so hopefully now with this one lined up, it'll help this one line up. So I tightened this one all the way, and I'm about to tighten the bottom bolt, so this entire mount will be done, and then I'll go ahead and move on to this side. I went ahead and tightened one of the top bolts, that's what this side was, so maybe that had something to do with it. So I'm going to try replicating and see, hopefully that'll maybe make it line up. Okay, so it took a lot, but I got it to thread a good few, I'd say 7 threads, and then what I went ahead and did is I tightened the rest of the top 2 bolts, so top was done, and then I finished threading that in. It was very hard to get in. I don't know if that would be your case, but hopefully not, but it was a pain. So now that's done, we can go ahead and reassemble the throttle cable linkage and the airbox, and then we can start it up and see if it has any vibrations. I forgot to take a video before, but it felt like you were on like a massaging bed. The ones you put like the quarters into, it felt like that. So let's see if that fixes any of that problem. Oh, and you also need to put the bolt in for the bushing in for the engine shock. So don't forget to do that as well. For the 240D, you only have one that's on this side, and if you have a 300D or 300D turbo, either, you'll have 2 on the other side. So let me go ahead and put everything else back together, and we'll get it done. With everything put back together, let's go ahead and start the car. Before, as I said, this car was very vibrating, so it was very massage-like. We'll see if it's fixed that. Yeah, if my starter will let me. It still has a little bit, because it's going to. But before, if I grab the steering wheel, my finger, as you can see, it barely moves. But it used to move a lot. This car was very rough at idle, to the point where I thought that the engine had a problem.
And I thought to look at the motor mounts, and it was just that they were blown out. So it's very good. Let's check the engine, see how well it is idling. You can see a lot of vibration staying in the engine rather than transferring to the car. So that's good. Before you then turn the car off. Alright, with all that being said, motor mounts are replaced. Thank you for watching, and see you guys next time.